Hi, it's Gronnemark, the throwing coach. Here is my live throwing report of the Danish derby, FC Copenhagen versus Brøndby. It was a quite exciting game, ending up with a victory for Brøndby 2-1. There was also a lot of interesting throw-in situations, and actually two of the goals came after throw-in. But before we go into the numbers, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm a professional throwing coach, been part of 14 titles in international football. I also have an online course for amateur and youth coaches. But let's dig into the numbers here. Let's start with FC Copenhagen. FC Copenhagen, they had a possession on 50% after throw-ins under pressure. That's like quite decent. I call that medium. But if we look at how many positive situations did FC Copenhagen come into, it was only 16.7%. So that's a really, really bad number. How can you have a higher possession than the positive situations? It's quite simple, because sometimes, even though you put yourself into a bad situation, you can sometimes be lucky with a toucher, or maybe you'll get the ball again after you lost it. So sometimes it could also be because of good pressure. But if we have to look at the highlights for FC Copenhagen, there was not many highlights for them with their attacking throw-ins. In the 57th minute, they had a return pass, but then they played back, so created nothing seriously from that. But for FC Copenhagen, a lot of lowlights. They put themselves into way too many high-pressure situations, coming too close to the thrower, things like that, not creating good team space. And actually, the Brøndby goal, the 1-1 Brøndby goal, came after a bad throw-in from FC Copenhagen, where they got like, I think, 3-4 passes, but they were still into that high-pressure situations because they made it hard for themselves from the start. So they lost the ball, and it gave Brøndby the 1-1 goal. So a really bad throwing game from FC Copenhagen. Then we go to Brøndby. They had a possession on 50%. And yes, that's also medium. The challenge for Brøndby was that they didn't have many throw-ins under pressure. So it is a quite small numbers. We look at these possessions here. They came into good situations in 75% of the time. So you can say that was quite good. The highlight for me was in the 38th minute, where they played a throw-in, into quite a pressure situation, but they made a switch over to the other side. So even though it was good, it was also quite risky, because those long switches, you have to have a lot of space there. But still, it was quite a highlight for me. The low light for me with Brøndby was that they gave FC Copenhagen on their throw-ins a lot of no-pressure throw-ins. And especially when you're looking at least in this game, a lot of bad throw-ins from FC Copenhagen, I would have been pressuring FC Copenhagen even more. And you can also say that the 1-0 goal that FC Copenhagen got, they allowed FC Copenhagen to have a no-pressure throw in there. And if you ask me, they should have been much more aggressive. So again, it's always the question, should we press, shouldn't we press? But FC Copenhagen's 1-0 goal just shows that, if you can press and you don't risk much, as Brøndby didn't here, then you should press them. But Brøndby didn't press them, and then 30 seconds later, after an easy possession for FC Copenhagen, FC Copenhagen scored the 1-0 goal. So again, quite fine attacking throw-ins from Brøndby, but if you ask me, they should have been pressuring much more. But again, an interesting throw-in game for me. So again, if you want to know more about my throwing coaching, I'm coaching clubs all around the world. Then you're welcome to look at throwingacademy.com. You can also read all about my online courses here, and you can also just follow me on social media or subscribe wherever you see this video. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.